Seahawks training camp is finally just around the corner. And if you're like us here at Chat Sports and you're excited about getting some football back and going, like the video because it's kind of the dead period right now around the NFL. But we're still keeping you guys covered on what's going on with some training camp preview stuff. So if you're hyped, do me a favor and like today's video. We got some players to watch at camp, and the first one is a guy who may or may not even be there. That's Jamal Adams. It appears the two sides, Adams and Seattle, are not that close right now to a deal. Adams, of course, has plenty of leverage in his contract talks. In general, Seattle likes to get these types of deals done either before, on the eve, or very, very early on in training camp. But I don't know if Adams is going to report to training camp given his contract situation. At minimum, he will become, I think, the highest paid safety in the NFL, surpassing Justin Simmons' $15.25 million deal. But does he want more than that? He allegedly wants to reset the safety market in a big way. And I wonder if that means more on lines of Bobby Wagner type of money at, $18 million per year. That could be an issue for Seattle, but they give up so much to get him, they don't have that much leverage in the negotiations. Meanwhile, beyond in terms of the leverage part, not great depth at safety. I like Ryan Neal, fun player, good backup. Not someone you want starting, I don't think, especially compared to Jamal Adams. So this is the number one story right now around Seattle, the Jamal Adams contract talks, and if he'll be there for camp. So make your predictions for me. Do you think Jamal Adams will report for camp with or without a new deal? Get your votes in the comments. Why for yes or and for no. Over to offense now. How about Damien Lewis? And you could argue Gabe Jackson too if you wanted to. It's not a big deal. Lewis is making a change here. Over to left guard, the left side of the offensive line. And I thought Lewis fared quite well in his first season over at right guard for being a third-round pick out of LSU. But a position change is still a challenge. It is not easy to go from the right side where you're got your footwork and a technique one way to the left side where everything's inversed. That is an adjustment and a change. So I do want to see how Damien Lewis fares in that adjustment. I'm not concerned about it. I'm not, although I do want to see Lewis become a better pass blocker, which I think is in general more important for a left guard compared to a right guard, but that's kind of nitpicking a little bit there. I like Damien Lewis. He's a good football player. I think he's a great run blocker. I thought it was a great pick by some time, and he even outplayed my own expectations. Now going to the left side, let's see how he fares. I mean, he got some run at center last year, too, when they were decimated by injury, so I feel good about Lewis being able to make that position change. But I do think he has the ability to be an impact offensive guard in the NFL. Now, I mentioned Lewis and, of course, Jamal Adams, but now it's up to you guys in the comments section. What player are you watching the most or most excited or most concerned, but the one guy you can't wait to see out there at Seahawks training camp? This is the pinned comment on today's video. So get the ad break here on YouTube, scroll on down, and get your votes in. Back to defense now, Darrell Taylor, who, look, the first year was, it doesn't even count. The Seahawks are now trying to find a way to get him on the field. They're giving him some more outside linebacker reps in a more bare front defense for Seattle. At least I think that'll be the case, to help replace KJ Wright. Now, don't freak out and think Darrell Taylor is now some weird off-ball linebacker where he's competing with Bobby Wagner and Jordan Brooks. Not the case, although you could also put Jordan Brooks on this list too if you want. This strong side linebacker role is still going to be closer to the line of scrimmage. He's not going to be lined up behind defensive tackles, but on the edges, over tight ends and tackles. He'll drop into coverage, yes, but I think his main role will still be to go rush the passer. So with that in mind, after not seeing Taylor at all in his rookie season due to injury, how many sacks will he have this year? Make your predictions, bonus points, whose lines anyway style for anyone who gets the number exactly right. We'll stick on defense now. LJ Collier, who, this is a lot of projection on my part, and I might be wrong, and that's okay, that I think Collier is in line for more defensive tackle reps. Jaron Reed is gone. Poona Ford will play plenty, but there's a lot of snaps to be replaced. 34-year-old Al Wood's going to get most of those? Kind of don't think so. And the defensive position has Carlos Dunlap, Benson Mayowa, Kerry Hyder, kind of sort of Darrell Taylor too. Collier, I think it's time to play more DT. A-Roll, I thought he should have been full-time coming out of TCU. Last year, in which he got a third of his snaps at defensive tackle, was a massive upgrade over what we saw in 2019. 3 sacks, 4 tackles for loss. Infinite growth over what it was his first year. Now, it was a disaster year 1, so, there was kind of nowhere to go but up. But if he can continue a similar, although probably not a steep climb, that's a big deal for Seattle. If LJ Collier can emerge as a reliable full-time starting defensive tackle alongside Poona Ford, that's a huge deal for the Seahawks' interior defensive line. This player, Collier, probably one of the more potentially impactful breakout guys for Seattle in 2021. Now, Seahawks fans, get yourself this awesome t-shirt and hat combo pack. Right now, 40% off at chatsports.com/12combo. Supplies, though, always limited on this because it's so dang popular. So go check it out. I'll put the link in the comments section and in the description. It's chatsports.com/12combo. To offense, again, Rashad Penny, who it is truly now or never for the former first-round pick. And unfortunately, has never lived up to the expectations. Now, not all his fault. He was hurt for most of last year, but Seattle brought back Chris Carson. They've made Carson the very clear RB1 for this team. And that means Penny is battling for a rotational role with likes of DJ Dallas, Travis Homer, and apparently a slimmed down Alex Collins. I know many of you guys like that one. But the Seahawks still invested a lot in Rashad Penny. And I don't think they want to bail on him altogether. And when he's been out there have been some flashes. Look, 5 yards per carry is tough to get to. The problem for Penny is it's come on a meager 161 carries over 27 games. He's entering year 4. He's never emerged as anything near what the team needed him to be with what they invested in him. Last year, it was bad, but it was almost kind of a fluke year. 11 carries. He was injured. He was not healthy down the when he got back. He wasn't quite the same guy. He'd missed so much time. It was a weird year. Now, Seattle can save some money if they find a trade partner for Rashad Penny, which maybe it's possible. So play GM for me. What do you want to do? Type K for keep, where you want to give him 1 more year to prove it. Type C for just cut him. You don't care. You don't think anyone wants to trade for him. If you want to trade him, which you might get maybe a late day 3 pick back, type T then for trade. Defense, again, the last defensive player on this list, Marquise Blair, the Seahawks nickel corner. Missed most of last year, unfortunately, but Blair was able to get back out there during some of the OTAs and minicamp portions open to the media, which is a big deal. That's a really good sign for his recovery from his injury. What Seattle and Marquise Blair are banking on right now is a breakout season. They spent a second-round pick on him, and so far, in part due to injuries, Blair has not emerged as the type of guy Seattle thought they were getting when they took him out of Utah. Now, I think Blair has the advantage over Ugo Amadi at nickel corner. Amadi played more and has played more, of course, over his NFL career. Again, injuries. But Blair won that job last year. He was the starter at nickel before his injury. So I'm curious to see how he fares at camp this year. In theory, a full training camp, healthy, and preseason will only be good for Blair, given how little he's been able to play, A, in the NFL, and also, B, just as a nickel corner. His career, nothing special. There have been flashes. There's been moments. There's been the appearance of potential and ability. Hasn't ever truly emerged, though, as a legitimate star nickel, but he hasn't had much of the opportunity to. Worst case, Seattle can lean on Ugo Amadi. It's not an elite nickel corner, but I always liked him coming out of Oregon. I think there's enough there to say, if you got to play him again, they'll be able to survive with other impact players in the secondary, at least in theory. Now, if you guys want Seahawks videos pretty much every single day, hit that big red button and subscribe. Training camp is almost here, which means there's going to be more fun stuff to discuss on Seattle. Hit that big red button and subscribe right now. Let's hit Dwayne Eskridge now, because of course I was going to mention the team's top draft pick, right? Second round out of Western Michigan. I think D. Eskridge has a chance to emerge quickly as the wide receiver 3 in Seattle. And frankly, he might be the only first-year guy who helps, or at least helps significantly in year 1. Obviously, DK Metcalf and Lockett, perhaps the best 1-2 punch receiver in the entirety of the NFL. Well, they're locked and loaded there, wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2. Eskridge, I think, could emerge as that third option. And for Western Michigan, he was a home run threat. Now, I know it was Mid-American Conference competition. I get that's not very good. But 23 yards per catch, 784 yards in 6 games? Mac or not, that's damn impressive. So I'm excited to see how he meshes with Russell Wilson and fares against much stiffer competition.